of that fight, fight of Saya, for the fight, as that give a lesson how to box, how to win the fight, how to adjust the fight in the middle of the fight. So I think I will prepare for this coming fight for Jerry Russell. I respect him; he's a world champion. But this coming January 22, I'm gonna win the fight.
Gary, you mentioned the fight with Ray Vargas, and again, we heard your name, I think, over the past year a couple of times. There was talk that maybe Gary Russell Jr. may move up to 130, fight Chris Colbert. There was even talk about possibly Tank Davis at one point. Why stay at 126? Why Magsayo?
I'm at 26 right now because I am the champion. I don't mind fluctuating my weight. It doesn't make sense to me to move up in weight and fight for a contender spot. If I'm going to move up in weight, I'd rather move up and fight the champ. That's it. That's all. It's a waste of my time to move up and fight just to stand in line. The reason why I'm fighting Magsayo is because he fought his way up the rankings to challenge the champion, and he is now the number one contender. He is the next best guy to the champion. Everyone that I've been competing against has been the next best guy to the champion because I could not get in the ring with another world champion, whether in my weight division as a unification match or in the bigger weight division for another opportunity for me to challenge for the title.
Mark, you told the boxing scene when this fight was announced that, quote, "This is going to be a great fight for me to show the world what Filipinos are made of." Tell us what you meant by that.
I mean that there's gonna be wants to beat the Russell, because I want to prove that to the people in the Philippines, not only in the Philippines but in the whole world, that I'm the best in my weight class. Yeah.
Gary, talking with Mark, he had this great comeback win against Julio Ceja. Any concerns about Magsayo, his comeback ability, and still having the power to deliver knockouts, especially in the later rounds?
No concerns. No concerns at all. You very seldom see Mr. Gary Russell Jr. have to come back from behind, being in behind on the scorecards. Mark had to come back. He had to knock that guy out because he was losing on the scorecard. That goes to show holes and kinks in his armor. It's very seldom that you see Mr. Russell have to come back from behind the scorecard. So no, none of that.
I expect that there's a great fight. That fight, I expect that he perform his talent in the ring, and I perform my ability to fight with him with a good fight, and let's see what he does in the ring.
Gary, same to you. What should Mark Magsayo expect when he steps into the ring with the champion on January 22nd?
Oh, man, the same thing that anybody expects when they get in the ring. They never really can prepare for this shit. You can't really prepare for it like you think you can. I expect for him to bring his physical best and his mental best. I take my hat off to him because he's willing to put it all on the line. He's willing to compete against the best, and he wants to be the best. That is the heart of a true fighter and a true champion. I wish some other fighters in the sport would have the same characteristics, because I don't see it in the sport as much.
Has it been frustrating at all, Gary, when you look at the PBC side and say, hey, look, give me these guys who are on the same side of the street as me, put them in the ring with me? Has that been frustrating for you?
It's been frustrating. It's definitely been frustrating, but it's somewhat flattering in the same breath, because it goes to show a lot of these guys aren't really willing to step in there with me and put it all on the line because of the skill set in which that I bring. Finally, another competitor with some heart and with some kahunas that's willing to fight. I take my head off to Magsayo, and I know he's going to bring his best. I want him to bring his best. I'm going to bring everything that I got, and we're going to see who's best is best.
I give you a good fight.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I know there are a number of members of the media here. They certainly have some questions for both of you gentlemen. So let's get right to those questions. Chris de Blasio, who's the Vice President of Communications for Showtime Championship Boxing, will acknowledge you, and then you can ask your question to the fighters. Chris?
Thanks, Brian, and thanks to all the press for being on. We're going to start with Gene Wang from the Washington Post. Gene, you should be allowed to unmute and go ahead.
Hey, Gary, good to see you again, albeit virtually. You've had to overcome probably more than most over the last 2 years, not just with the pandemic, but you mentioned your father's health issues and, of course, your brother's passing. Just how are you holding up mentally through all that adversity, and how difficult has it been to focus on your career and the boxing training aspect of it?
Oh, man, I use it as fuel. It has been very difficult, though. But I tell people all the time, life is like boxing. You got to keep your chin down and your hands up, and you got to fire when you got to open it. I'm grateful that I have the mental capacity. I'm mentally strong when it comes to stuff like this. I don't know anybody else that can cover for me. It's been definitely difficult with my dad. He's been my coach as well as my father. A lot of guys like Mark, in most cases, you have a product that's somewhat developed, and then you have another coach to come in and try to clean up that product or add on to it. With Freddie Roach and him, they had to learn each other. They still are in the process of learning one another. Whereas though me and my dad, it's just a certain level of chemistry that's just innate. It just is. And I think that right there plays a big factor. I refuse to have someone else to train me other than my dad. So for some of this training camp, I've honestly trained myself, me and my younger brothers, until my father recently just got out of the hospital, and he's been a part of the camp. It's definitely been difficult, but, man, we don't whine. We don't complain. I'm a champion for a reason. This is what champions do. We have to overcome adversity.
How did your brother's passing affect you, and how long did it take to? Are you still processing it, and kind of, you mentioned to use it as fuel? I mean, do you think about him every day and kind of motivate you during camp?
I definitely do think about it every day. It's so crazy. When my brother passed, it took me 2 months. He passed in December, and in February, the street that we lived on, I changed the name of the street to my brother's nickname. I'm still dealing with it. I'm still coping with it. And once again, I use it as fuel. I use it as motivation. And I know my brother's with me. Energy is transferable. So, bro, hand me some of that energy, because I'm going to need it.
How has your perspective changed on life and your career at all, given the adversity you've been through over the past couple of years?
I wouldn't say that it's changed, but it didn't really change, man. It just made me a little more tunnel vision, a little more focused. It goes to show you that time waits for no one. You have to give it everything that you can. I wish I had more time with my younger brother. Unfortunately, I can't get it back. All I can do is allow him to live through me at this point by continuing to be the best that I can possibly be.
And how did your other younger brothers kind of handle his passing?
Oh my God, man! They've been having an issue. They definitely have Gary Antonio. The last time you seen him compete, he held it together. It was difficult, even with that fight, because my father wasn't there. Me and my younger brother had to work his corner. He's used to hearing my father's voice. Of course, he's comfortable with hearing me, but he was accustomed to hearing my dad's voice. I think that was an issue. that he had, and it was crazy because immediately after the fight, he held it all together until right once they announced the win. I mean, he just laid his head on my shoulders. He just broke down crying. Like the weight of everything was on his shoulders. It's crazy, man. And it's so difficult for me to be the oldest. You know, I have to live by example. You know, I have to inform them and also show my younger brother, you know, that everything is okay. This is a part of life, you know, and this too shall pass. My brothers would definitely work the corner. Rodrigo Moscata, he's always been a good guy. He always helped work the corner with me as well. My father, he's a warrior at heart, man. He is a warrior at heart. He's supposed to be going back to the hospital to get checked out. He got to get some stuff done. But he's deciding that he's not going to get it done until after the conclusion of this fight. He felt like he missed enough time in the training camp, and he wants to dedicate the rest of whatever he do have to me, you know, and to the rest of this camp. You know, I'm grateful for that. It means a lot to me. And, you know, once again, we use it all as fuel.
Gary, so he will be in your corner on Saturday night, as far as you know, on next Saturday night?
As far as I know, he will be there. Like I say, even now, his health is not the best. His health definitely is not the best. He's still having issues even after the amputation. He has real bad sugar diabetes. You know, this is why I took my hat off to Leo Santa Cruz, that, you know, we're fighters, but at the end of the day, we're still real people. You know, we're still real people at the end of the day, and your dad, your mom, is just your brothers. It's just certain things that nothing will ever replace, you know. So I'm just grateful that even with my father being in the state in which that he's in, he's still willing to be a part and participate in something that he started.
Gary, how long ago did he have his foot amputated?
I'm going to say about between a month or so.
Before Christmas sometime?
Yeah, before Christmas. And he was actually in and out of the hospital for weeks or maybe about a month even before that, you know. So a lot of the training camp, you know, I've been somewhat doing it myself. And we've been kind of like doing the Zoom thing or the duo on the phone, you know, while I'm in the gym. He's just on the phone, you know, watching what I'm doing in the gym and still giving instructions while he's over the phone, you know. So it's been somewhat difficult, but man, I'm a champion for a reason, man. No whining, no complaining, man. We still ready. I'm gonna give and bring the best that I can possibly bring, and I hope. Well, I'm not even gonna say I hope. I know Mark is gonna bring the best he can possibly bring because he knows what he's up against.
I appreciate all the information, Gary. I know it's not easy to talk about all this stuff. I'm going to ask you something insignificant in comparison to what we've just spoken about, but I know that you've wanted the Tank Davis fight for quite some time. You've been very vocal about it. It seems to us it's fairly obvious that they don't want the fight. Have you kind of given up on it, or how do you look at it now?
I mean, to be honest with you, I never overlook anybody. You know, of course I would want the fight, you know, but as of now, I'm focusing on Mark. You know, Mark is the one that is willing to step into the ring and worked his way up the rankings to challenge me for my world title. Gervonta Tank Davis, he's not in a rush. Or maybe Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellerbe, none of them guys are not in a rush of putting him in the ring with me. You know, I'd rather focus on a true warrior, a true gladiator, someone that's willing to put it all on the line and bring their physical best. That's smart.
I just have one last question for you, Gary. A lot of guys talk about ring rust when they have been off for a long time. You've obviously had some long layoff, and it hasn't been noticeable with you, particularly in your last fight against Tug Nyambayar. You didn't look rusty at all. How have you been able to combat that better than most?
Because I stay in the gym. Boxing It's not just what I do, it's a lifestyle for me. Even when I'm over and done with my career, I will still be in the gym. I'll still be working out, and I'll still be trying to get me some sparring in every once in a while with who's ever willing to give me some work. It's just a certain type of lifestyle. I never really blow up and get big in weight or anything like that. I love what I do. I'm a competitor, and I'm honestly I'm very militant as far as my mindset goes. I'm one of them type of people. I want to always have the condition. I tell people all the time, what if you had to run 3 miles to save your life? Would you be able to do it? This is something that I will always want for myself. This is something that I will always want for my friends, my family members, and etc. And me personally, I got children, so I want to be able to do it with luggage. I want to be able to do it with baggage. Just in case I got to put a baby or two on me, I want to be able to do it and be able to get through this thing with ease. So I always want to be in a certain level of conditioning or in a certain level of shape. And I think just my lifestyle and my way of living helps me overcome that. Of course. Like, once again, I'm a very respectful person, so I never overlook anyone. Right now my main focus is Magsayo. I know he's ready and he's going to bring his best. But God willing, we get past him injury free. If I could make 2 fights that I would want to happen, I would want Gervonta Tank Davis, and I would want Lomachenko. I feel as though that he's a little even-handed. I believe that he's more dominant with his right hand, though. I feel like he might hit harder with his right hand, but I feel as though he has good even punching ability. None of it really matters if you can't hit your target, though. If you can't land effectively, it doesn't really matter. If you catching gloves and I'm slipping, it doesn't really matter how hard you can punch. You can't land and touch your target.
Yeah, I'm gonna show the world that I'm the best in this weight, and I'm thankful for Shoshan putting me this opportunity to fight a world title fight. I've been waiting for this time, so I'm gonna do my best to win this fight.
Best luck to both fighters.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jim. Let's go next to the fight girl, Cynthia Conti, representing Ring TV.
Can you guys hear me?
We can. Go ahead, Cynthia.
This message is from Art. Congratulations, by the way. I know that you recently got married. So first off, we all know how crazy, ridiculous hand speed that Gary Russell Jr. has. Can you talk about the sparring that you've received to emulate that kind of speed in the ring for you?
I have a sparring partner, Shoshan, sparring partner from Boston. He's good. He mimics the style of Gary Russell. So every time we spar, we train the style of Gary Russell. So this fight is gonna be a good fight, and this is my first world title fight. I'm gonna do my best shot.
Okay, and then second, what it always comes down to, and whenever we talk about Filipino fighters, you're carving out your own legacy, and what do you want to show the Philippines, the fellow kababayan, the type of fighter that you are? Because whenever we talk about Filipino fighters, we always compare everyone to Senator Manny Pacquiao. And unfortunately, everyone is not going to be like him. What do you want to show the world and to the Philippines? What kind of fighter you're going to be?
There's no next Manny Pacquiao, but I'm gonna put my name in the history that I'm good. I'm a good boxer. I'm a competitor like Gary Russell. So I'm hungry. So I want this fight. I want that fight. So yeah, it's good. I'm so happy that I'm gonna fight a world title fight. Shoshan gave it to me, and BBC and Showtime. So I'm blessed that I'm here now facing with a world champion, so I'm happy. I'm good.
Without revealing your strategy, what do you think your best attribute is going into this championship fight?
Say it again. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Without revealing your strategy, what do you feel like your best attribute is going into this fight with Gary Russell?
My advantage of Gary Russell is that I'm tall and I'm stronger than him. But we train for every day in the gym for 3.5 months with Coach Freddy. So we do a lot of techniques. So it's in the fight.
I believe that you're one of the more ducked and avoided fighters we've seen in the past 10 years or so. What specifically can fans and media members do to change the current business structure of boxing in regards to us making the fights or making the fights that fans want to see in the most competitive fights?
That was a great question. That was one of the best questions that I've had thus far. Just hold these guys accountable. Don't just say it when you be doing an interview with one another. Hold these other guys accountable. Ask them the question. Why is it that you're not in the ring trying to fight Gary Russell Jr.? Why is this? As far as the fans go, the fans need to stop boycotting some of these fights. Stop supporting some of these fights when you already know what the outcome is going to be before the fight even happens. Like I said, I take my head off tomorrow. It's no secret when you ask about him about unveiling his strategy. It's no secret. He don't have no option but one option. The only option he could possibly have is to try to apply pressure. That's it. That's all. He can't stay on the outside because he's too slow. He's not fast enough. He don't have the hand speed. He don't got the foot speed. So he can't stay on the outside and try to outbox me. That's not going to happen. He's going to have to come forward and apply pressure. It's just as simple. I've been doing this shit too long. I've been doing it too long. I know the answers before the answers all come to me already. Before the question was already asked. That's the only option that he could have is to come forward, try to apply pressure. Hopefully he'll try to overwhelm me with his power and get lucky and land something solid. He probably in great conditioning. I take my hat off to Manny Pacquiao. It's safe to say that he is a legend in the sport of boxing. And for him to be willing to sign Mark as one of his fighters, I'm pretty sure he has an eye on what he considered talent is. So I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited,
bro.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, and I have one last question. Gary, considering I believe you're the longest reigning champion right now and you possess a unique skill set, for whatever reason, the politics of boxing, you haven't been regarded or you haven't been heralded or received the props as being like a pound for pound top guy. How do you feel like your career will be remembered? And do you believe that at some point before you retire, you'll be able to get some of the guys who've been avoiding you, some of the guys such as Tank Davis, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, Devin Haney, Warrington, et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, man, I'm not sure. What I can say is to the people that has had the opportunity to watch me compete, in most cases, they would say that my skill set is very special. It's second to none. It's special, it's second to none. As far as the pound for pound list, I honestly don't pay the pound for pound list any mind. Pound for pound list is merely based upon, it's a popularity contest. It's based upon who's more popular. It's not based upon skill. If it was based upon skill, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. would be on the list. Therefore, I really don't pay it any mind. You can't, my father told me a long time ago, no matter what you do, you will never be able to please everybody. Somebody always has something to say. You know, so all I can do is do the best that I can do. I'm grateful that I have a fellow competitor like Mark that's willing to give it the best that he can, and willing to bring his best. He feels as though that he's the best. And I think anyone, any sport, any craft that you participate in, anyone that's participating in the sport, whether you're a rapper, a singer, or, you know, a soccer player, it's good for you to feel as though you're the best. It's better. It's good for the fans. It's good for everyone who's watching it, and it's good for your sport, you know, or your career in general, you know. So it's refreshing to get a fighter that's willing to give it everything that they had, you know, and put it all on the line to be known as possibly the best. I welcome it.
Bahal, I know Bahal was hit hard by the typhoon. So how's your family, and does that also give you extra motivation seeing what's happening back home? You've been here for so long now that you can't help but look at what's going on back home.
My family there is good. Nothing happened there for my family. And I dedicate this fight for my province Bohol and for my family.
And Leslie, are you surprised that, because after the Seha fight, we saw so much potential. We were so happy with that one. Were you surprised that you got this shot right away?
Sean said to me that if I won this fight, I'm gonna face Gary Russell. So I need to win to face Gary Russell.
Okay. Viva, salamat, Mark. Good luck. Good luck to Gary also.
For the last 3 fights here in US, Shashan gave it to me a ball fighter, always forward fighter. So they didn't say me how to box, how to in out, speed. They didn't say me to face Gary Russell like this style. So I think I'm gonna face him a real fight. I give him a real fight.
And Gary, I don't know if I've ever asked you this question before. Ultimately, what would you still like to accomplish in this sport?
Honestly, I want a career-defining match. I want one of those career-defining fights. With someone who they say who's supposed to be the best of the best, you know. That's ultimately what I want. You know, I've made good money in the sport. I made great money in the sport, and I'm the longest reigning champion. Like I say, I want that one fight that says, okay, he's definitely better, hands down, than anyone he's ever beat in the sport right now. That's what I want.
Well, I tell you what, folks, that fight could be January 22nd when he steps in the ring with Mark Magsayo, because it's going to come to you on Showtime Championship Boxing. It will be live from the Borgata Hotel and Casino and Spa in Atlantic City. 9 p.m. Eastern is the time we will start it off. It is a triple header of fights. In the main event features the return of Mr. Gary Russell Jr. to the ring, fighting the unbeaten Mark Magsayo. Again, promoted by TGB Promotions, brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. Tickets on sale. Ticketmaster.com. Ticketmaster.com. Gentlemen, listen, it's going to be one heck of a night. We'll wrap it up with this. We'll start with you, Mark. Give the people a final word. What should they expect January 22nd?
They expect this is a great fight and ball fight. And we'll thank for Sean Gibbons for giving me this opportunity, and Al Hammond and BBC and MP Promotion and Showtime. So thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Good luck to both of us, Gary Russell, and I'm gonna do my best to win the fight. I give you a good fight. The next Saturday, there's a new champ.
Okay, well, you heard it there. Champ, we'll give you the final word. What should the folks expect January 22nd when they see you back in the ring?
Man, they should see two great competitors going head to head. Like I say, I automatically take my hat off to Mark. I know he's going to bring his best. He sounds confident. He looks like he's confident. You know, that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what the fans want to see. That's what the people want to see. I wish more people in the sport would be like that, man. But fireworks. You should expect the same thing that you used to seeing. Great hand speed, great boxing ability, ring generalship, IQ, and the heart of a lion.